What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unbreakable Grind. It's your guy CJ back with another video. Before we get started, everyone, as you know, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers before my daughter is born in July. All right, look down at the subscribers. Take a look. As you can see, I'm not even close. All right, so if you guys could help me out, that would be much appreciated. All right, you know I can't do it without you. Okay, so with no further ado, let's get into this video reaction. All right, this video reaction is regarding poverty in marriage. All right, some of the ideologies about poverty in marriage. This is a big deal, man. This is something that is very interesting, so I'm excited to get into this.
Where I come from, most of the parents are middle class to poverty. So poor relationships and poor marriages aren't as happy as rich marriages. So I think in the urban culture, when we see marriage, we just see struggle. Because we always see other people around us struggling married, trying to make it, living in little apartments. So to the average black or Hispanic kid in the ghetto, marriage don't really seem happy to him. Marriage seems happy to white people because white people are married, they have houses, they do things on TV. You see on TV, on these talk shows, you'll see white families. You'll see rich white families. On the Bel Air, on Fresh Prince, you watched that show because you wanted to see how Will was living. You was poor watching that show. They don't show you what real black love looked like. A lot of it ain't always, glitz and glamour, like on Atlanta Housewives. There'd be some struggle where I'm from when they marriage. So
I gotta jump in there already, man. So the guy is making a lot of points right now. Seems to be an African-American / Latina guy for the most part. He said the demographic he's from, most of the relationships are going to be from a middle class to lower class perspective, all right? Or from a mid-income to poverty perspective. Now, the data is in agreement with him, all right? That's just what it is. That's just reality for most minorities in the United States, okay? That's going to be the lens. Most minorities are going to be seeing marriage and relationships through the lens of somewhere between middle class to lower income, lower class, or poverty. But most of that is going to be on the lower end of that. All right. So with that being said, that's very important to consider when we're thinking about this thing, man. That's very important because he said that that rich marriages are the ones that are better. But that's not necessarily true in my opinion. But what I do want to shine light on is that things are everything you can imagine, everything you encounter in poverty is much more difficult. Okay. I've got to experience all spectrums of this thing for the most part. Okay. And one thing I know is that in poverty or in lower income, even, the lower your income goes, the more difficult things become, trivial things, okay? Like, let's just talk marriage for a second or relationships. You're probably gonna be in a smaller spot. As you go closer to poverty, you're gonna be living in small spaces. Not a lot of room. Everyone doesn't have their own space, all right? Everyone doesn't have an abundance of food to eat, right? Like everyone can't go in. So you're living close together. You're thinking short term. You're thinking about how we're going to pay the bills, how we're going to pay for our car notes. You know what I'm saying? How we're going to get a job, how we're going to prevent ourselves from losing our car. Things like that, right? So not only that, you can't really foster a lot of the things that make relationships great, right? Like exploring things together, right? And from the poverty perspective, you rarely see things like couples going out and exploring together, right? Even if you're talking about something simple like in the woods, let's just go in the wood and explore together. Let's turn over some rocks and find some bugs together. Just anything, right? So you just don't see that kind of stuff from that perspective. Usually we're focusing on things in poverty, how are we going to do that? How are we going to get the kids here? Where are the clothes? How are we going to get the clothes? Who's going to pay for that? Where's your money going? Where's mine going? What about the car? I need a car. Where are you at? My phone bill. That's how poverty ends up looking. Most things end up being complicated. Okay, this affects relationships and this affects how we see relationships when we come from these dynamics. All right, so that's very important. I want to zoom in on that. I don't think that rich marriages or rich relationships are inherently better or you know, I don't think that. I think that poverty makes things extremely difficult. And as you remove poverty, you're able to look at things more realistically. But poverty puts you in a mindset where it blows things up, man. Simple things, simple gestures can be blown out of proportion. You see this all the time. Okay, it doesn't even have to be relationships. It could be you walking down the street and somebody step on your Air Force Ones, man. People will take your life almost over shoes. So everything's over exaggerated in a poverty environment. And you see this in relationships. I wanted to point that out before we kept going, because this is a very, very important point. Okay, one thing I even want to throw in there. Right now, I'm married, right? I have people that don't even believe me and my wife don't argue. It's so bad. Poverty can be so bad, man, that you can't even, it's possible that some people won't even process not arguing with someone ever, right? I could tell someone, we never argue, never. And it's not even believed. It's like, nah, everyone argues, that's natural. Arguments aren't necessarily natural. Now, it is natural to have different opinions on something, but that just means, hey, let's just lay that on the table and see which opinion actually holds the most true. And then we can accept whichever one, we can come to an agreement on whichever one we want to, holds the most true with given the data we're considering or whatever. So me and my wife don't argue, but, and that's the point, but that's like an unimaginable thought from a impoverished perspective. So these are the kind of things I want to talk that are very important as we move forward, man, because we're talking about marriage, relationships, and how that kind of is affected. The whole thought of that is affected with poverty, man, and how income affects that. So let's keep going.
When I hear man, I be like, damn, my mind goes to money. When as a black man in America, when you mention marriage to me, I be like, damn, marriage, I think about the money I gotta spend. Because where I'm from, the man got it the worst. It's shit like the man gotta do everything in marriage. Like all the weight on the man's back. So to a man, marriage don't sound too good these days, because the way TV got it and these rap songs got it, the man gotta do everything. You feel me? So it's like, you know, marriage don't really sound too good where I'm from. You know?
Yeah, most things don't sound that good from a poverty perspective. Most things that are actually good actually have a bad connotation. You can even take something like as simple as college, right? Take a person who's in an impoverished environment and let them just hear about the stories of college from other colleagues or other friends from their environment. Most people who come from poverty go to school for the wrong degrees. This is proven statistically. Like this, there's data on this. Most of the population even, but you know, especially in a impoverished environment, we're going to school for the wrong degrees. So when people come back and they say school is just a waste of time, you don't have to go to college, it's a waste of time. Look at all this debt. I'm doing worse than I was doing before. Now I really can't pay my bills, yada, yada, yada. It makes it seem as college is difficult and a waste of time. Just like poverty will make you think that, because poverty, see, there's a lot to it, man. It's a very complicated problem. You get what I'm saying? Because poverty has a way of skewing reality in a way that's very unconducive to growth. You know what I'm saying? Like you see couples and they're fighting about bills, fighting about the car note, fighting about the kids, fighting about the baby parents and all that. And it makes marriages look bad. You see people coming back from college and they freaking got the wrong degrees. It makes college look bad. I mean, nothing really looks good from the lens of poverty. And we're going to get deeper into this, but this is a huge problem. This is a big deal, man. But I want to see what they got to say and we'll keep going.
Don't sound, now, if you Katie and Sarah, you want to get married because your mom married a white dude, you going to marry a rich white dude, y'all going to live in a big ass house, get a pet, have a bunch of kids. To them, it sounds great. But when you trying to come up and you middle class, that shit sound expensive.
I think that when it comes to who's getting married first, it's about conditioning. Yeah. We are not, in fact, conditioned to pursue marriage. You know, like you said earlier, a lot of us grew up in, well, I didn't, but a lot of people grew up in single family homes where it was only one parent doing all the rearing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if that's what you see, you were not conditioned to desire, to want, to what's the word? Emulate, you know, having a two-parent home, because you didn't see it. You worried about going in here and getting money. about working because people are struggling. You trying to make it to the next level. It's all about what you see. It's about representation. And like you just said, Katie wants to get married because Katie's parents was married at 22 and they've been together for 44 years. You know what I mean? That's not the same example that's been traditionally set for us. Yeah. Maybe with our grandparents, but like with our parents, it's a whole nother situation. So we just have a very different perspective when it comes to marriage.
You know what's funny about black love? No, because I know I'm going to get comments like, oh, he disrespecting black love. I know my parents was married 32 years. It's going to be a bunch of them. You know, black love, every black marriage ain't poor. Listen, I'm here to speak from what I see. I'm not here to speak from your lens. So this is why when you are privileged and you came up rich, marriage seems beautiful to you because you're living in a happy home. Your dad's look at the Kardashians, right? They was raised with a mother at home and the dad's the lawyer, rich lawyer. Look at all of them now. They have the exact same thing. They all have rich husbands, rich babies, and they happen to get a hustle or two, but in a perfect world, they did what their mother did, get you a rich man. So to them, they all want to get married. But to Shaniqua and Kira, they dad wasn't a good husband to their mom. And mom always was broke. So Keisha and Shakira is like, damn, marriage? Do he got money? Let's face it. In the black community, it's about money with marriage. Because let's face it, survival. Don't no woman want to marry no broke nigga. And don't no rightful smart man want to marry a broke woman neither. But in the black community, marriage isn't a happy topic. It's like...
Yeah, they're saying a lot, man. You know, marriage isn't a happy topic in the black community in a lot of ways, a lot of the time, man. I can agree with this a lot. You know, he even talked about... you know, I don't think it's as much as like this rich versus poverty thing. Like if you're rich, marriage is good, and if you're poor, it's not. Because you can see great marriages in poverty. You can see that. I don't want to neglect that. Nor do I want to say all black marriages are in poverty. I'm just saying. But what I am saying is that poverty makes things way more difficult. Okay? Way more difficult. And what we have to understand is that's most of our demographic is going to be experiencing marriage from. That's the lens, somewhere between lower class to poverty area. And with that being said, we have to think about, okay, how do I think about this, right? Because I don't think you have to be rich to have a great relationship. Okay? I think the actual solution, all right? Because I think this is the solution because this is what worked for me, right? And not only and I'm an engineer, right? I'm a solution-based person. I believe that complicated issues can have very simple solutions. Let me say that again. I believe complicated issues there are ways to iterate towards simple solutions that can be effective. Okay. And I think about it like this, right? If we have to, when you're getting with someone, when I think about relationships and I have to think about why me and my wife have such a effective relationship, we both just have the same goal, right? Me and her have the same goal. Okay. And by having the same goal, it's not the same goal for tomorrow. It's not like, okay, tomorrow our goal is to wear the same shirts. Or we plan to eat the same food tomorrow. We have the same long-term goal. See, poverty makes you make decisions on short-term principle. And it doesn't hold, that doesn't work for relationships. Right? I think what worked for us, why it worked, is we said, you know what, where are we trying to get long-term? Forget where we are right now. Where do we want to be way out there? 2025. You know, back then, you know, it was freaking earlier in the 2000s, like early 2010 type stuff. So 2011, 12. So we were like, where do we want to be in 2020? Where do we want to be at 2025? And what that does is that makes us say, you know what? F all the little stuff that happens in between. F all the issues that happen in between. All we need to make sure is that we're on the same page. Me and you have the same destination. All right. Me and you have the same destination. Me and her. And now that we have the same destination, all we have to do is make sure that we're on the path to the spot we want to be at. We don't have to stop and complain about everything that's going wrong. What about the bill? What about this? What about that? But see, relationships are very short-sighted when it comes to a poverty perspective. And that's what most of us get to see when we observe relationships. We see short-sighted stuff. We're not thinking, you don't see the relationships. You don't see the families or the marriages or the people thinking long-term together. Well, in 2025, this is what we look like. In 2030, this is what we look like. In 2026, 2035, this is what we look like. It's usually stuff like, how we gonna pay the bill tomorrow? I just lost my job. He just hit him in the head. They were behind the house. They messing with the window. They took my keys. Where my food at? You get what I'm saying? Like, everything's short term. Why didn't you go and do that? Why didn't you go and do this? Why are you in my space? So everything's so short term. And what we realize is none of that stuff matters, but that's the mindset you have to be in from a scarcity perspective. That ends up messing up how we see relationships. This is a big, big problem. Because as you zoom out, this applies, this same phenomena. You can observe this in many, many scenarios. On my channel, I talk about stocks all the time. I talk about investing. You got people, an investor in poverty, right? Take a person who's in poverty. They don't have a lot of money to invest. They're thinking about the next bills. They're putting out the money that they invest. They want to make it. They want to get rich immediately. That's what you would expect. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you would expect, because they have to think about how to eat, how to pay a bill, how to keep their house, how to keep their car. So they want their money back immediately. So when the market goes down, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it's toxic. Something as beautiful and amazing as investing, that's pretty much guaranteed to work out if you do it long term, is stressful, because you're doing it from a scarcity perspective, and it ruins the whole thought. Your engagement with it is going to be terrible. Investment is going to be a terrible, terrible experience from that perspective. And that's what I need you to understand about relationships, just like they're saying in this scenario. Relationships are terrible if you think about them from a short-term perspective. Okay, we need a car and we need to pay the bill, and short-term, and if short-term issues cause things, he looked at you like that. She came and did that to you. It's like, what the F do why do these short-term things, right? These very small little blips in time, why do they affect something as large as our path in life together? Our marriage is just saying, look, man, a marriage is, for me and my wife, is this. I want to go over there to destination B. All right. Do you want to go there? Yeah. Are you going to do everything it takes? Yes. I'm going to do that too. So that means it should be easier with you because we got the same destination. With that being said, the only thing that can mess us up is you don't want to go to destination B anymore, and you're not trying to go to destination B. As long as we want to go to destination B, anything that happens doesn't matter. I don't care if we're investing in the stock market and we lose 100,000. Well, are we still going to B? Do you still want to go to destination B? I still want to go to destination B. Are we still in path? Well, let's figure it out. It's not like I want a divorce. We're still on the same. We still have the same destination. We can figure out what went wrong, but there's no reason to argue. These short-term events don't matter, but in scarcity, these things are blown up. Most people observe relationships from this perspective, man. I'm telling you, it is a big problem. This can be extraordinarily complicated. All right. Because the thing that fascinates me, because I've got to see what poverty looks like, man. I know what lower income looks like. I know what poverty looks like. I know what middle income looks like. I know what higher middle incomes look like. I don't know what freaking top of the freaking ultimate pinnacle looks like yet. I will know, and I will let you know what that looks like eventually. But I know what the spectrum looks like, man. And one thing that fascinates me is that everything is overly complicated in poverty or in the lower class. It just is, because you have to think close, short term. Everything's complicated, man. When it comes to arguments, you can't even imagine not arguing in most of the time in poverty. There's always something to argue about. There's always something to complain about. There's always something going wrong. There's always something suppressing you. There's always something depressing happening. There's always something, and it's just too much. And that affects relationships, man. Let's keep going, though. It's a very, very, very important topic here.
Maybe.
It's like maybe. Yeah. Cause as a man, it scared us to death. Because like we seen our dad struggle in divorce court and child support and alimony. We seen it never really work.
Wait, but I have a question. So what are we gonna do? The question is, how do we change the narrative about what we
make it about love?
How we were negatively impacted when it comes to what we saw as marriage.
Listen,
we really have to change the narrative about how we approach marriage, how we approach dating, how we approach rearing a family. What do we do?
I'll tell you the solution. I know a solution. All right. We have to become problem solvers. We have to understand what it means to be a problem solver. That's what we have to understand. In the lower class and impoverished environments, problem solving is missing. Efficient problem solving skills. And it might sound like this is an observation I've made. Check this out, right? Test this out. Because I thought, I'm not crazy. I tested this crap out. Go to a spot. If you're around lower class or impoverished areas, ask little kids, even adults. And this might seem like there's no correlation, but I've come to find there is a correlation. Ask people in general, do you like mathematics? This might not seem like there's no correlation. But one thing I've been fascinated to see is almost no one likes mathematics in poverty. This might seem like a stretch, but this is something that fascinates me. I test it out all the time. Mathematics is just something no one likes in poverty. And where am I going with that? Mathematics is simply problem solving, right? Like if I walked around, I'm going somewhere with this. I am. If I walked around and said, hey, I can fly. You know what I'm saying? People think I'm crazy. They'll say, man, what the F wrong with you, man? You know, it's retarded. Get the F out of my face. No, I think I can fly. And they saying, no, you can't fly, right? I'm like, no, I can fly. They're like, no, you can't. You're freaking stuck on the ground. You can't fly. Look at you. You can't fly. And they're saying, well, I think I can solve this problem. I think if I got the right lift with the right buoyancy and the right thrust, I can fly. And they said, well, all right, check it out. All right, boom. Let's fast forward. Let's say I come back. I say I can fly. And I get the right freaking out all the equations together. And I freaking, boom, look, I'm flying. Right? Where am I trying to go with this, right? Because I don't want to go too left field. Where I'm trying to go with this is, if I'm flying, I figured out how to take all of these odds against me, okay? All of the odds against me, I figured out how to take those and optimize those for me to reach my goal. That's the point. The point is that all the odds are against me in flying, okay? Everything I observe is people on the ground. People can't fly. That's what my environment tells me, all right? But if I'm a problem solver, I can look at the problem, look at the variables that I can manipulate and that I can control, and I can optimize those variables to give me the result that I desire. And if I desire to fly, Lord behold that I can actually optimize buoyancy, lift, and thrust to fly. But what I need you to understand is, just because that's true, we know it's true because we have airplanes. We have drones, so we understand. We have helicopters. We understand that you can optimize a person to fly, even though all the odds are against them. Just like in an impoverished environment, all the odds are against you. You know what I'm saying? All the odds are against you for having a successful marriage, and all the odds are against you for going to college, and all the odds are against you for having $1 million, and all the odds are against you for just about everything desirable. But what I need you to understand is, with problem-solving skills, we can optimize the things around us to actually succeed. So take the plane analogy, right? Me saying, hey, I want to be able to fly. I want to fly. I can optimize the variables to fly. People might not believe it, but I can prove it. And actually come to find out they can fly too. If they optimize their variables correctly, if they problem solve correctly, they can fly too. But the reality is if they try to fly like me, if they try to go and problem solve and build something to fly, most won't succeed because it's too complicated of a problem. We need to actually get used and embrace problem solving. We need to embrace problem solving. Let me say it again. We need to embrace the process of solving problems. I tied this to mathematics because there's an interesting correlation between not problem solving in the lower income environments, right? Not problem solving, not like in mathematics. In mathematics is all problem solving. I didn't realize this until I went into freaking mathematics and started talking about it and realized no one liked mathematics. And I started to realize that no one likes to think of the actual logic of situations, right? When we talk about marriage, most marriages fail. Most marriages fail, right? Like more than 50% or like 50%. But most marriages that are optimized right, that are solved correctly, that the variables are optimized correctly for succeed. That's what I need. That's what I'm hoping we can realize from this, is that most marriages fail. But actually, just about all marriages that are constructed correctly succeed. The data doesn't really let you see that, right? Let's say 100 people. I got 100 people in a room. Let's say we're all going to build a plane. Do you think most planes will fly? No, it's too complicated of a problem. It's too complicated of a problem for most planes to fly. Come to find out, most planes won't fly. There'll be a very small group of people that can build a flying plane. But does that mean planes aren't efficient? You can't actually have a flying plane? My point is, man, is that doesn't denounce the fact that a plane can fly just about every time. Boeing can field a freaking 100,000 planes and all of them fly. That doesn't mean, but most people won't build a plane that flies. Where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is we lack the problem solving skills to get what we desire. Poverty makes it more difficult. We don't see people solving problems in poverty. We see people reacting. This is a very, very important issue, and I'm not judging anybody. This is a fact. People are reacting. Bill come to the mail. Oh my God, I'm about to lose the house. What can I do to get the money? You know what I'm saying? It might be some problem solving short term. I'm talking proactive problem solving to reach your goals. Hey, look, I want to get over there. I want to go with you. Where do you want to go? You want to go there too? Let's think about how we get there. Forget everything. Let's think about how we get there. That's not what you're seeing in poverty. What you're seeing in poverty is, hey, you cute. Hey, I like you. Hey, we're together. Oh, shoot, something came to the mail. Oh, my God, we need $100 by tomorrow. Oh, my God, where's my money? Oh, my God, my car got picked up. Why'd you let my car get picked up? We reacting. We're not solving problems together to get to our destination together. And that's one of the most, that's the solution. I don't even think the solution is love. You can say love. I think love is you don't even have to really love each other to have a good relationship, in my opinion, right? Like, it depends on what you think love is, all right? You don't have to be in an ultimate, intimate, loving relationship to have an awesome, great relationship. You have to have a common goal. You guys have to want to be in the same, desire the same thing out of life. You guys have to desire, you know what? I want to go here. I want to be here. That's where I think my life is. My life, I see myself like this. I see myself like this, and I think I can do that with you. And do you want to do that? And are you willing to sacrifice anything to get to where we both desire to go? And that's what it takes to have a long-term relationship. So you dang near don't have to really be in love, man. You can just desire the same thing. Both desire to be in the same place and consume the same space and solve that together. That's what makes a relationship work. I need you to understand that. That's what really makes relationship work, man. Having somebody that's trying to get to the goal with you. I hope that's making sense, man. This is some cold stuff. I have a different perspective on these things, guys. I'm technical in nature, man, and I have to give it to you the way I know it. You know what I'm saying? The way I feel it. So let's keep going real quick.
We live in a world where it shifts to physical. I'm a victim of that too. Everything is based on physical, how it look, how it shake, how ass. So men are now trained to not go for the smartest girl with the most potential or the one with the most upside. I myself look at the physical first. You feel me? So it's like, what I'm saying that for is this: the quality, the judgment used to obtain queens and husbands and boyfriends now is being tainted by the physical nature of our society. The rap videos, the fashion, the girls. Men are now marrying girls who look like a wife, but not a wife. And girls are marrying niggas with the money of the husband of their dreams, but not the soul and heart of the king they really want.
See, this is very interesting. Now, that's very interesting because I was kind of just hitting on this to a certain perspective. To me, man, I think of it as problem solving to a certain extent, but at the same time, we're not even approaching relationships the correct way. You know what I'm saying? Rap songs are telling us, man, you know, ooh, she got that and she got this, she look like that, she like this, and the dude with the money, boom, boom, boom. And we end up just pretty much, hey, the little dudes want money regardless of how they get it. And the little chicks, they just want to show their body. And then they want to come together and then just react to what the world throws at them together. That's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying, hey, I want to go there. You look like you want to go there. You got the same attributes. I can tell because if you don't spend all your money on clothes. Those clothes are just conservative clothes. I like that because that's where I want to go. I don't want to spend money on stupid stuff. I want to go over there. You want to go there? And she like, yeah, I want to go there too. And it's like, let's do that together. It's not about do I love you or not. It's not even about it's not about anything but the fact that we desire to be in the same place and we know we can help each other do that. Of course, love can be there. Great. You know what I'm saying? But it's way deeper to me. Like it's simpler, right? Like this whole idea of love, you can call love whatever you want, right? You can't define what love is. You know what I'm saying? Love is just generally wanting the best for a person, in my opinion. And if we want to get to the same place and we both have the same destination, that's love. I love you. Like me, I love you. I want you to be the best you can be. I want you to reach your goals. I want you to get to where we're trying to go. That's how this thing flows, guys. This thing is way simpler than we think. It's way simpler. The fascinating thing with me, man, is that about my life right now is what blows me away is that I never knew relationships would be as straightforward and simple as mine is because it's not what I typically would see in general. Okay. In general, things are kind of complicated. Well, it's not really complicated, but when something happens in our life, it's like, hey, are we still going the right way? Is this still what are we going where we want to go? If not, let's adjust. If we're going the same way, then there's nothing to worry about. Right. So things are simple when it comes to my day-to-day, when it comes to my relationship, when it comes to even having my daughter, man, things are just simpler. Much more simple. People tell you kids make life harder and kids are this and kids are that and this. That's poverty talking. Everything's complicated in poverty. Kids are an enjoyable experience. But if you're in poverty and you don't have help and you need the money and you don't know how you're going to pay your bills and you got kids and you don't know if you got insurance, everything's difficult. And that's what I'm trying to say is we have to be problem solvers out here. You know what I'm saying? We have to be problem solvers out here. And what do I mean by that? We have to say, that's where I want to go. I don't care about the government. I don't care about suppression. I don't care about none of the stuff people want to throw. I don't care about none of the complexity that you want to say. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about all the stuff they say. I don't care about all the stuff that the rap song tells me I need to look for in a woman. I don't care about you shouldn't care about all the stuff the rap song tells you need to look for in a man. I don't care about that. All I know is I desire my life to be like this idea right here. I'm pointing at something. I want to be a destination B. Do you want to be there? I think I like you. It looks like you want that. Do you want that? If you want that, let's do that together. That's my ultimate goal is to be over there. I don't care what happens in the short term. Life is unexpected to a certain extent. But what I do know is I want to end up there. And if you want to end up there, I want to do that with you. That's how it goes, man. It's that simple. You work through everything, you grind through everything. People are gonna come into that and try to make that more complicated, but it's as simple as that. All right. That's gonna be my review, man. I don't want to go too far with this. This is a big topic. I might have to come back and kind of get back on this topic a little more later. I had to give my perspective at least a bit that I can without making the video too long, man. If you like this content, hit that like button. Subscribe to get more videos, notification to get those immediately, man. I promise to keep the heat coming. This is something that sits really close to me, man. And yeah, I might have to make some more videos on this. All right, guys. Peace.